Expressionism, an art style in which artists depict a subjective reality, reflective of the artist's inner thoughts. At a time where there was an ongoing war, at a time where many pieces were being restricted from being sold or displayed, a group of men created a name for themselves, and thus inspired the likes of many famous painters. Did artists have a right to depict the real-life realities that face them? Or would society have been better off if this movement was never made? This is
Expressionism.
Expressionism.
Abstract expressionism.
Expressionism.
So what is Expressionism? Expressionism is an art style meant to depict the inner emotions of the artist. It acts as a response to social issues at the time. It has inspired many artists such as Edward Munch, James Ensor, Edgar Degas, and most remarkably, Vincent van Gogh. Expressionists use swirly and exaggerated brushstrokes to convey the emotional state of the artist, a reaction against the rapid modernization of European society, also spanning into World War II and still present in the 21st century.
During the late 1800s, following the Industrial Revolution, a group of German architecture students formed a group based around their shared love of art. Ernst Ludwig Küchner, Fritz Bleil, Erich Heckel, and Carl Schmidt-Rottluff. This group was named Die Brücke and was located in Dresden. They heavily disliked 18th century Impressionism and regarded it as an unpassionate and inaccurate portrayal of life. They wanted to create something that had more expression and meaning in it. Thus, the Expressionist movement was created, growing into popularity in the 20th century. This art style often used provocative and unrealistic imagery to challenge the viewer's ideology. The influence of Van Gogh's art in the Fascism movement really pushed its growth further. But what did the public think of this?
In 1933, during World War II, after Adolf Hitler was Chancellor of Germany, many Expressionist pieces were destroyed and removed from the museum. In total, more than 20,000 artworks were deemed degenerate art. Expressionists were no longer granted the rights to sell or distribute their artworks. This art was placed in a dehumanizing museum as a way to educate the public about the art of decay. Expressionism's impact on society introduced artists with the tools they needed to invoke emotion into their art.
On the other side, Impressionism had a more impactful response. New Expressionists emerged from Germany to the US during the 20th century. New standards were announced into the art world, meaning the ability for artists to put their emotions into their artworks was an important thing. Edward Munch is one of the most well-known Expressionists for his widely well-known piece, The Scream. In 1892, Edward Munch painted The Scream, which was inspired by a panic attack he suffered from. The painting was depicted with a figure in black clothes holding both hands to his face, with a distorted and distressed expression. Behind him is a brown bench surrounded by bluish-gray swirls, which can assume to be a dark sky or water. This piece is supposed to represent the fear of having no one else around you, and, after 13 decades, Expressionism is still ongoing. Over time, Expressionism modernized, expanding into other forms of media, such as literature.
Shamsa woke up one morning from unsettling dreams. He found himself changed in his
Plays.
Marry me wants to marry me, Georgia Jones. Georgia Jones, accompany Mrs. Georgia Jones. Mrs. Georgia Jones, do not have married. You take this man to be what it has been. I do to love, honor, to love, kisses. No. I can't.
Music. And movies. In fact, many modern classics were influenced by Expressionism, like Batman Returns in 1992, The Crow in
Once
1994.
That when someone dies, a crow carries their soul to the land of the dead. But sometimes, just sometimes, the crow could bring that soul back to put the wrong things right.
Edward Scissorhands in 1990.
I'm as harmless as cherry pop. Those are your hands? Those are your hands.
And Sleepy Hollow in 1999.
Just in time for a new century.
The most recent piece of expressionist art in the 21st century is The Secret Conspiracy by Pesek Gronzanov, which won first place in the 2023 American Art Awards. In general, Expressionism was a response to the social issues artists dealt with during the time, allowing them to express their emotions visually. This is how Expressionism as an art medium changed our perspectives of society.